This recap video may come as a bit of a disappointment to the people who want to watch me and hear me yell and scream and get my heart rate up and overall just provide that entertainment value that you love so much. And hey, I get it. I've watched my streams back before. I have watched my own videos before as I edit them and then back in hindsight. And I cannot deny they are entertaining. But I got to be honest tonight, after that game, I don't think I can muster genuine anger anymore. Lightning lose 4-2 in Game 4 to the Florida Panthers in a manner that I can only describe as, Talk about the goals real quick. No scoring in the first period. First time there's been a scoreless period during this entire series. And considering that the Panthers had scored within the first 5 minutes of each of the first 3 games, it was a very welcome change, but it was a very competitive first period. Nobody really had a distinct advantage. Second period, about halfway through, Brad Marchand is chasing a dump into the Tampa Bay Lightning zone where he is not harassed enough. And he is surrounded promptly by all 5 Lightning players. And I do genuinely mean all 5. And in the midst of that, since nobody is paying any sort of attention to anybody except Brad Marchand and the puck, Anton Lundell sneaks down right in front of Andrei Vasilevsky in a move that was shockingly similar to Game 1 and what Matthew Tkachuk did for, I think it was goal number 3. And just like that, 1-0 Panthers in a period where the Lightning have honestly looked like they had the bulk of the control. You're now down 1-0. About 3 minutes later, directly following what ended up being a brutal non-call against Aaron Ekblad. Before the goal, let's actually talk about that for a second. I didn't end up getting to record a recap for Game 3, but one of the big points that I wanted to put out there was that Matthew Tkachuk didn't even get a look at a suspension, not even a review for his hit against Jake Gensel. Now, the precedent was set, okay? The precedent was set. Should that have should it have been a penalty? Absolutely. Like, it's 100% interference against a player who did not have the puck. I don't understand why, when the precedent was set with Brandon Hagel set against Sasha Barkov, why it wasn't the same. Why Matthew Tkachuk didn't also get a suspension, not even a hearing for a suspension. It's water under the bridge at this point. But also, Paul Maurice saying, the only players that we hit are the ones without the puck. Yeah, somebody should really tell that to your players. That said, this hit from Aaron Ekblad takes Brandon Hagel out of the game. He goes immediately off the ice to concussion protocol because he gives him an elbow and the guy falls back on his head, snaps his head because he knocks against the ice. No call whatsoever. I was furious when I saw that happen because at the bare minimum, it's a penalty. Bare minimum. Give him 2 minutes and it's at least something. But because it didn't get seen and they still stopped play for an injury, for a concussion protocol, no call. Even though there was an official right there next to it. Do I think that this was biased towards the Panthers? No, I don't. I'm not actually that stupid. I know that officials are human. I know they miss calls constantly. It happens. However, you should have the ability to review this kind of thing when it comes to injuries. Brandon Hagel took out Sasha Barkov, sent him out for the game, 5 minutes. Aaron Ekblad does the same thing. Nothing. Because nobody saw it. And John Cooper was furious about it. If you saw my stream, I was mentioning how furious he was because I was also furious in that moment. But directly off of that, for an offensive zone faceoff for the Lightning, Mitchell Chaffee, off of a rebound, squirts one under the legs of Sergei Bobrovsky. It's 1-1, and the Lightning are fired up because they got retribution for that non-call against Aaron Ekblad. And we're feeling good. We're feeling great about ourselves in that moment. So good, in fact, that 11 seconds later, Eric Chernak from the top of the right circle fires a puck past Sergei Bobrovsky. And oh my goodness, in the matter of 11 seconds, the Lightning go from down 1-0, fuming over a non-call, to now being in the lead. And at that point, they look and feel Fast forward to the third period. The Panthers are on the power play. The Lightning penalty kill has been ace this entire night. They have limited shots at every single power play opportunity, but a lazy rebound in front of Andre Vasilevsky. And who else but Aaron Ekblad fires it over the right shoulder of Vasilevsky, but it's called back for offsides. So instead of being tied at 2 with around 5 minutes to play, the Lightning still maintain their 2-1 lead. We go on. Just under 4 minutes left to play in the third period, and carbon copy opportunity from a different spot on the ice. It's Aaron Ekblad again, gets a lazy rebound again, buries it. No offsides challenge, no nothing. It's legitimately a 2-2 game. And at this point, I, as a fan, am deflated by it, but the Lightning are a professional hockey team. They've been here before. They've weathered the storm. Surely they are going to maintain their resolve and their discipline, and they're going to get through this. In perhaps the most cruel twist of fate, 11 seconds later, just like the 2 goals from the Lightning, the Panthers get the go-ahead goal at 3-2. Seth Jones from the point puts a shot on, and for the life of me, I've watched it over and over again, and I still do not understand how it made its way through and got past Andre Vasilevsky, but it is what it is. And now with under 4 minutes to play, you go from being in the lead by 1 to being down by 1 in 11 seconds time. Panthers would put an empty net goal in to make it 4-2 and to effectively ice the game. And you go, quite literally, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Instead of going back to Tampa, tied at 2 games apiece, it's a brand new series. Now you head back to Tampa, down 3-1, facing elimination. And like the reason that I can't get mad, I can't get animated, I can't yell or scream or do anything is I can't get myself there. There's nothing to be that mad over at this point in time. I think that's the stage of grief that I'm at. I am past anger and I am on to, what is it, acceptance? I think I skipped right over bargaining. I'm on to acceptance now. Like the series isn't over, but there's just something in my heart and in my brain that says you should accept it now and be prepared for the end to come, if not Wednesday, then on Friday. Though if the series somehow gets to Game 7, that's going to be one of the greatest overcoming adversity stories for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Though mark my words, if it does get to Game 7 and the Lightning get just run out of the building by the Panthers, I will have an actual connection, probably live on camera. If there's one thing that I could theoretically get upset about, get animated about, it would be the power play. And even still, I can't bring myself to do it right now, probably because I'm so emotionally drained from watching that game, but it's the power play. It's the power play. Once again, it was dead silent, and not for lack of opportunities. They had a 5-minute major, and I'd have to go back and look, but I'm not certain that they put even a single shot on goal during a 5-minute major. They had 2 power plays, a major and a minor, 7 minutes. I think they managed 1 shot on goal during the power play. Y'all, for a power play that is as lethal as the Tampa Bay Lightning's is, that is completely unacceptable. And I've been watching the power play so intently during this series, and I can't quite put my finger on what the issue here is, but I think it's just that they're overpassing. Like they're not taking the opportunities that they're given because they're looking for that perfect opportunity. They're looking for their open man. You're playing the Florida Panthers. They won the Stanley Cup last year. They're not going to give you the perfect opportunity on the power play. You need to create your own chances. And how you create your own chances, you put the puck on net. You put it on Sergei Bobrovsky and you let somebody get down in front. Put somebody in the blue paint. Brandon Hagel, Jake Gensel, Anthony Cirelli, Braden Point. Somebody get down there and be ready for rebounds. Part of the reason that the Lightning had success in playoff runs of past is they had that person who was willing to go down to the net and do exactly that thing. They had Corey Perry years ago, and they put him on power play number 1 to do that exact thing, right? The puck would go around between Stamkos and Kucherov and Hedman and Point, and Corey Perry would just sit there and be a little shithead in front of the net and wait for the rebounds. Who's the person that's doing that right now? It should be Braden Point on power play number 1, but he's nowhere to be seen. It should be Anthony Cirelli on power play 2, but he's nowhere to be seen. What changed, and why are we getting so few shots on golden opportunities like a 5-minute major in a Stanley Cup playoff game? And that's really it. Like, I have no in-depth analysis past that. I can only tell you what happened. And at this point, I can only really tell you how it made me feel. And even better, you can go watch the replay of my stream over on Twitch, and that will give you a much better idea of how I felt. And this is where we land now, facing elimination at the hands of the Florida Panthers, down 3-1 again for the second year in a row. I said it during the Game 2 recap, and I will reiterate it right now. If you lose this series to the Florida Panthers, if you get bumped out of the playoffs for the third straight season in the first round, something is changing. Probably something big. Cooper's job is safe. He's not going anywhere. Julian Breezeball's job is safe. He's not going anywhere. I think assistant coaching will probably get some pretty big turnover. Player personnel, I'm not sure. And we can diagnose and do a full debrief when the season is officially over. I have my thoughts on what has been so incredibly different between the years that the Lightning won the Stanley Cup twice in a row, went to a third, versus the last 3 years, because you have a nice even split right now of 3 years and 3 years that you can compare and contrast like we used to do in school, right? Here I am 20 years later talking about the SAT. You got 48 hours to reset, to right the ship. Game 5 in Tampa, Wednesday night. You take care of business at home. You go back to Sunrise. Game 6, Friday night. You win that game. You come back home. Game 7, Sunday night. It's one game at a time now. You don't have room for error anymore. You have to play the best hockey of your season right now. It's do or die. As a fan, not only of the Lightning, but of the sport in general, it's easy to believe in some of the superstitious things, right? Like you can look at a team and say, oh, they're clearly better. They're going to win this series. And generally speaking, like that's how I viewed the Lightning coming into this series. I thought they were clearly better. I thought Florida was too banged up. I thought they were going to be competitive. I called the Lightning to win this in 6. I didn't think it was going to be easy. But other times, you can look at a team and say that's clearly a team of destiny. And between Game 2 and Game 4, it's hard to shake that one off. Do I actually believe in like team of destiny type things? No, I don't. But goodness gracious, Florida winning Game 2 in the manner that they did, and then Game 4 in the manner that they did, that's the kind of win that propels you to a Stanley Cup. It just is. It was the same way during the Bubble Cup year in 2019 and 2020 when Tampa wins that 5 overtime game in Game 1 against Columbus in the first round. And at that point, you say, yep, the demons have been exercised. Tampa is winning the cup this year. And the same exact thing happened, I think, in Game 4 of that Stanley Cup final, the only game that Steven Stamkos actually played during that entire playoff run. He's out there for a handful of shifts, but he takes one shot, gets one goal, and at that point you think, story's too good. Tampa's winning the cup. I look at those two Panthers wins in Game 2 and Game 4, and I cannot turn that part of my brain off, because intellectually, I know and I assent to the fact that Team of Destiny is not a thing, but like, it really does feel like it. One game at a time. Go win in Tampa, prove you're the better team, reset, get ready to go back to Sunrise. And as always, I will be live streaming commentary for that game on twitch.tv/SammyFlair. So if you want to come over there and watch me go through the emotional highs and lows, and you want to see my heart rate spike and drop, it got up to, I believe, 165 beats per minute. That might be something I have to talk to my doctor about. But if you want to see that, I welcome you to my Twitch channel. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for giving me just a little bit of your time. I really hope that my faith in this team is rewarded in Game 5 and 6 and 7. But only time will tell. Because after Game 5, I'm either making a recap video that is filled with hope, or I'm writing a eulogy.